bread. They offer horseradish. They have all the stuff that I like. In Ohio, we do not eat fucking food from the gas station.
No.
It's against our nature. We get milkshakes from the gas station. We do not get food from the gas station. Sheetz is going to kind of switch things up and let people know what fast service at the gas station can be like. So, and to get another opinion on this matter, a true Ohioan.
He's not even from Columbus either.
That's
you
true.
know? So we're getting the Cincinnati area sort of opinion. You excited about Sheetz Drew toothpaste?
I am, and thanks for having me on the Wednesday Basement Show.
But did you grow up? You grew up in Cincinnati's another planet. People don't understand Ohio is like Cleveland, Cincinnati, and Columbus are three totally different things. They're just Cincinnati is the South. It's probably the Confederacy. Columbus is normal and in the center and moderate, and then Cleveland is like where like the mafia is. That's the best way to describe how this state's laid
There's
out.
a lot of stuff that used to happen in Cleveland is the best thing to say about it.
Yeah, Cincinnati is definitely part of Kentucky. The airports in Kentucky. A lot of the nice parts of Cincinnati are in Kentucky, which is a different state from Ohio.
Did you eat at gas stations back then?
I wouldn't, and I'll tell you. Now here we have United Dairy Farmers, also big in Cincinnati, and you would go just like Brett said. You would go and get a milkshake at the gas station. But going and getting a sandwich at the gas station was like, you would have to be so desperate.
Yeah, I know. That's the
Right.
thing. It's in the Northeast. They're all just eating at gas stations all the
They'll
time.
cut
They
your
have-
throat. There's Wawa people. There's Royal Farms
They
people.
have-
There's Sheetz people.
They
and they'll
have
kill you.
Wawa and Sheetz, which are like the two big ones. Pennsylvania.
Royal Farms too. I have to
Yeah.
say Royal Farms.
Okay.
Royal Farms Mafia
Okay.
will
Chicken.
fucking spring you up.
Yeah, they'll say they got the best fried chicken in the world.
Oh, I love fried chicken. I gotta go.
Gas
I've never
station.
been that far.
It's in Baltimore. Check out
Northeast.
Baltimore.
Oh,
Yeah.
I've been to DC. I don't think I've seen it in
There's
Baltimore.
not one in DC.
It seems like really Baltimore area thing. I mean, there might be some in Virginia, but there's not a lot. I don't know where they're at. I've driven by 1,000 Royal Farms, and I can't remember where any of them were. But yeah, it's just against our and you know we do a scumbag scuzzy show, right? And it's like just against even our nature. It's just you're born to not eat at a gas station in Columbus, Ohio, and if you do eat at the gas station. One, there is desperation, and like when I worked for the cable company, a lot of people ate at the gas station because it's like cheaper than packing. Even like you can go in there and buy a hot dog for like you can buy 2 hot dogs for like 99 cents.
And if you're good at stacking points, you get a lot of free lunches.
But like it's just like nobody chooses to do it. So I'm excited for the. There is actually a gas station by my house, a Market District. And it's part of the grocery chain Giant Eagle, and it's a gas station. And they sell sandwiches, and I have never seen somebody buy a sandwich there.
No, we're conditioned. And Giant Eagle's store brand food is like pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
They have a bunch of like store brand pierogies. They have store brand fried chicken, really good.
Yeah.
They have store brand Italian sausage. They have all this stuff, but I would never go like a pre-made sandwich. Once you enclose the sandwich, I don't want
I'm
it.
with you, dude. I've never eaten one in my life. I have never eaten a pre-made sandwich like wrapped in saran wrap or like in the little container in the machine at work. Never done. I've eaten macaroni and cheese out of the machine at work, but I've never in my life eaten a pre-wrapped sandwich because I think they're fucking hideous.
Yeah, I mean, you're weak. You'll die first.
Okay, I'll make my own sandwiches. I want to, before we get really rolling into like the regular stuff, UCSC grad students, we know we have a ton of grad students listening to this show for some odd reason. We love you, but I mean, it's just, this seems very stupid for you. Their grad students are withholding grades until they get a raise for housing, which is, I mean, when you're at least at Ohio State, like most of your teachers are grad students. Like most of my teachers were grad students. I did not have a lot of professors. Well, I think I had I can only really remember like 2 actual PhD professors vividly in my mind, maybe 3, and it's like I had a lot more classes than that. So keep it up, folks. I guess they're also like telling people not to swipe their cards in the dining hall, which is neat. Because, I mean, that's crazy, right? That the college charges them for food after they charge them the amount of money they charge them to go to college and then live at college.
Yeah, it should be like an all-inclusive resort.
You're exactly right.
But I've never heard him. Yeah, I didn't know they charged him money. The only I've only ever seen them where they just like get a credit for a lunch and a dinner or something.
No, those Buck IDs are like credit cards that you can load, and I can't do the exact thing justice. I never put money on my Buck ID because you could only do it in blocks, and blocks were $25. And if you didn't use the block, you couldn't get the money.
Oh, no.
And it was just all right.
Bits and pieces, just bits and pieces everywhere.
Can you give me some like PS4 bucks or something for that? Can I sell that on a website or something?
I mean, how can you? Like, why is that? Like, why do they do that? Like, after all the money they get, right? After all the money they get, they have to also do that.
Well, I had my alumni association, and I went to the University of Cincinnati. Like Brian said, I grew up in Cincinnati. I went to school there because it was mostly free. Basically, at the time, they were like rebuilding the whole college. They demolished like half of it and they were rebuilding it. And they said, hey, if you're from Cincinnati and you stay in Cincinnati and you go here, you can go here for essentially free. So I was like, yeah, like obviously, right?
You fooled them by moving away.
Yeah, I took their money and moved out of town. But it was about 2 years ago, which has been like a few years since I completed my degree. They track me down, and it's like 7 times a year I get this letter, and it's like, don't you want to help other people? And I was like, I do, but giving you money is not that's not helping other people. That's right.
The Alumni Association calls are like, I haven't gotten one in a really long time. It might be because I don't answer the phone, but I just want to be like, and you feel so bad because it's students calling that need fucking money.
Like I'll give $5 to you, dude.
Yeah, can I give you some money? I'm not giving this.
I'll buy your lunch.
Yeah, I'm not giving this fucking institution a dime.
Right.
Till I'm making a lot of dimes.
So for those of you, some people still don't know who our guest is today. In the chat, they're very surprised to see your face. This is Drew Toothpaste, the one and only online Drew Toothpaste. But you're going to be doing a live show with us on December 27th. So if you're here in Columbus, you got to be there Friday night. We get to close the bar down. We'll be there till 2 a.m., but the show starts at 9 sharp. You're going to be our guest with your Garbage Brain University podcast, right?
Yeah, I've been doing Garbage Brain University for about half a year with Natalie D, and we go through a bunch of weird facts and do a bunch of bong hits and generally go completely off topic and try to reel it back in.
It was fun. I got to do your flyover episode this week, which was great because I'm very proud of being from flyover country. My opinion on flyover country is I want them to keep it that way so that they don't come here and ruin it. Like, I don't want a bunch of coastal elites coming here and ruining the vibe that we have going in flyover country. I'd rather them think they're better than it. I'd rather pay a third of the rent and half the price for our groceries.
Yeah.
Yeah, we talked. We also talked. I've been told it's contentious. The Columbus pizza topic, the square cut pizza. We talked about our love for square cut party pizza. So
it's so good.
Yeah, I mean, kids cannot handle the big ass triangle slice of pizza. Well, it's just a rule. It's just how it goes. You hand one to them. They flop it on the ground. They slop it around. You need just a nice little square. It's like a cracker with cheese on it, right from the middle of the pizza, and that's what they want to eat. They don't want anything else.
They hate crust.
They don't like it at all.
I agree with them in a way. Because,
I don't.
Not agree. I love crust. I'm not saying I agree with them.
I'm a contrast guy.
Oh, jeez. I'm not saying I agree with them at all. I'm saying that, I understand why a child would not like crust. Sure. Because it's just kids have this thing, and I'm kind of like this too. I'm not just throwing this on kids. But they have this thing where, if it doesn't hit you in 2 minutes, it's boring. Yeah. And if the part of the pizza with nothing on it It's just boring to them. They just find
Yeah.
it boring.
Yeah.
We took the teens to see Knives Out last weekend, which is like a whodunit type movie.
Sure.
Yeah.
First of all, I'm trying to explain a whodunit, right?
To who?
My niece, Zoe, and Gwen, and they were like, so is it like Us? Like the movie Us?
No.
Is it like a horror movie where they...
No, we saw them motherfuckers doing it the whole time.
That's what I told him. I was like, it's a mystery because you don't see the murder or who did it. It's not like a mystery is not
that-
all about
that's
the
all-
murders.
You might as well have just said, like, this thing sounds like the cat's pajamas. It's a whodunit, man. It's the cat's pajamas.
Yeah, I think we said it's a mystery movie.
A whodunit.
Oh, no.
It's
you
a
know what I ended
whodunit.
up
You do
saying?
sound old as shit.
You know what I
kinda.
ended up saying? I said it's a murder mystery.
Ah.
Which I guess led them to believe, like, well, there's going to be a lot of mysterious murders in this
Oh.
movie. Like,
People-
they would not figure out that it's a comedy, you
People
know?
are going to get murdered, and they're going to figure out if it was because of Hands Across America.
Right. And if you're a kid, though, and you hear people are going to get murdered, you're like, that's very scary. Like, you can't, like, figure out in your mind that, like, murder can also be funny.
Yeah, they go hand in hand.
Because kids are so afraid to die, you know? It freaks them out. Like, ugh. I know I was, you know.
Well, kids just constantly think that, like, as adults, you're going to be around folks that are going to try to, like, secretly murder you or
That's true.
something. They just
Everybody
think
does.
that, like, you know, they believe that, like, you're going to encounter quicksand and acid and murderers, tornadoes. Like, they learn about all this stuff that can happen in the world, and then it's like, it's just going to be, like, dealing with your day job is going to be, like, the biggest tragedy of your life.
Environmental hazards. They think there's going to be a lot of jungles.
Yeah, yeah.
No.
They imagine that they're going to have to figure out how to braid their own rope.
I'm going to say this, and I fully realize it's going to make me sound like a total fool. But I think I've been in quicksand before. Like, I think
No,
one time...
Come on.
Like here,
Come on,
like
we're
in
trying to do a
Columbus.
serious
Not
radio
in
program.
Columbus.
This is not.
I did step in that concrete. That was kind of like quicksand.
That's the
I don't
closest
know if you
to
know about
quicksand.
that, but I did walk into a bunch of freshly poured concrete, and I stepped in it, and I was like, oh, that's a weird step. So I put my other foot in it and looked down, and I was up to my shoes, all over my shoes in concrete. No, we went on a vacation to, like, I don't know, it was one of those Outer Banks places, and there was this sand.
Outer Banks.
Yeah, like a
Way
Hilton
out
Head
there.
or one of those. It was one of these vacations we went on as a family, and there was sand, and you would like sink it. Now, it wasn't going to take you, you know? Like this
So it
isn't-
was like slow sand. It wasn't quicksand.
It wasn't quick at all. It was it would have never killed you. I'm not saying it would have killed you, but I felt like I remember being like, "This is fucking quicksand, y'all," because I'm like sinking in a little bit. Can you guys believe this? And nobody else was into it with me, but like I think it was just wet sand,
Yeah,
maybe.
they didn't believe you until you took like a long rod and laid it across it, and then climbed out of the quicksand.
Yeah, no.
to save your life.
I don't think all quicksand is like deep enough.
No,
to
there's
kill
only
you.
it's a one kind thing.
There's only deep
It's
quicksand.
just the one, and it's very rare. Well, I mean, in like compared to like what
There's
you're gonna
only
find in Ohio.
so the only there's not varying degrees of quicksand.
no,
is what
no,
you're telling
no.
me.
It's not like a
Okay.
concept.
So I've never been in quicksand before.
You've been in sand.
I've
Which-
been in sand that was wet that I was sinking into. My feet like slowly. I was like, oh, this is quicksand, is what I was saying. When I was
Yeah.
it
You
was
would-
like harder to walk, you know?
You were doing like a commercial.
I wasn't.
Wow,
I
this
thought,
is this is quicksand. This is a fast sand.
No, I thought.
Woo, that's a slick
I
sand.
guess I just thought there were varying degrees
No, that-
of quicksand, and there was only one kind that could kill you. And then, like, they get some are
Sure.
shallow, some are deep.
Yeah.
You know, and some of it moves slower, and some of it's very quick. And I thought I was just, I just had walked in to like
Yeah.
a thing, and I was sinking into it for sure. And I had to work harder to lift my
Right.
foot up and keep moving.
Right.
And it was sand, and
Yeah.
it seemed wet. And I always thought quicksand seemed wet to me.
Yeah, I
It just was something in my mind that I thought it was wet.
yeah. I mean, that sounds right. That's what I mean. Is when like I don't know, having kids, they do believe in magic still. Like my daughter definitely knows that like we can't do magic and it doesn't really happen anywhere, but she does kind of have an inkling that somewhere else people are actually doing magic and shit. Like we're just boring parents that choose not to do study magic. You
Well,
know,
this came up on
or go on
Teen
quests
Fight.
or anything.
This came up on Teen Fight a little bit that like Gwen used to like think she saw celebrities in the cars next to us while we were driving, and I was like, dude, I never like said anything to crush it, you know. But the whole time I'm just like, yeah, that might be her. I mean, sometimes they get out to Columbus, Ohio, you know? It was like that she would be watching Hannah Montana, and then she was 6 or something,
Yeah.
and she'd be like, Dad, I just saw or Miley Cyrus in the car next to us, and I'd be like, no, you didn't. And like, why would she be driving like a Honda Civic or something?
Right.
You know what I mean? But it was like I think kids don't like, they still feel like there's possibilities everywhere.
Yeah.
That like anything they don't know that outside, like when my kid is like, I want to travel, and you know, we go to Texas, and it's different from Ohio, but it's roughly like when you go into a city, it's like a lot of the same stuff. They just look a little bit different, and it's like hard to explain to them like, yeah, the whole world's basically just a bunch of cities that are kind of the same.
Yeah, and there used to be Kowloon Walled City. That was pretty cool. That was it was like one of those condos, you know, those condos that are 5 stories, and the bottom is like yoga and then a special type of bread.
Oh, like a mixed use thing?
Is that
Yeah, but it was called Kowloon Walled City, and they made illegal noodles and stuff in there. It was in Hong Kong.
Oh, I remember.
and then they
this.
knocked it down.
Oh,
So
of
the
course
whole
they did.
that was the only thing that was different in the whole world. Now it's gone.
Yeah. Well, that one place in California, which we got invited to, but I got scared, and then we didn't go because we never have enough time in California. But what is that place, Brett? That somebody told us they would Slab City.
Oh, you almost went to Slab City.
We could have got one of our fans goes to Slab City, hangs in Slab City, and asked if we wanted to go to Slab City with them.
You want to go with us?
That's
Can we put on the calendar?
if I'm ever out in California and I have an open invitation, I would go. And I understand like scheduling is what it is. You got to come back here. You got to work. But if I could go and I got invited, I would. I've seen a lot about it. It's just too wild. There's too many different people out there. I really like it. And there's like only slightly, like, I think it's only slightly elevated my chance of danger.
No, it's exactly. Yeah, absolutely.
I think it's
there
like,
isn't. I mean, that's all made up stuff. That's all speculation.
I mean, for me, it was like the discomfort, and also I would be afraid of the people. You know what I mean? Like, as in, just like, they're probably really big personalities that have been through a lot of stuff. And for me, that, like, kind of thing scares me a lot. Like, where it's
I
like,
would
oh,
just,
buddy.
I would go places like that where you go and there's a lot of really wild people. I would be very content to just go and like take it all in and listen to people, and like at most I would like ask them like, what was that like? And like they'll fucking tell you. They live in the middle of a desert and everybody around there has heard their stories and they're like, shit, I get to tell all my stories again.
Yeah.
I would 100% go. Yeah.
Yeah, sounds like a good time. Yeah, I'm into that stuff. I mean, this like you have to we don't ever take those people into account. Like I feel like a kinship with people out there. You know, it's like they're not dangerous. They're just like they're living more truly than I am.
I mean, I hate to be a dick. I hate to be a total dick, because this is going to come off like a dick. I don't consider them dangerous. What I'm trying to say is they would probably be annoying.
Yeah, no, I get that.
Personally.
Dangerously
Well,
annoying.
I don't want the listeners to think like I don't like them or anything, or those people are bad, or like that I think that they would kill me. It wouldn't just. I have a low threshold for being annoyed, and I just feel like if you move to Slab City, I mean,
we may be
probably annoying.
We need to go to is the big skate park in Ohio
Skate naked?
Skatopia? Is that still open?
Yes,
Can
that
we,
is.
that'll be our first baby step into that world.
Maybe we'll see if we can get there. We got to do some news this week. Well,
Do
we
we?
don't have to, really.
Yeah, I hate
but
the
I had a
news.
news story that we needed to cover because I posted it online and it was it was the 6th. Fucking when things happen after we've recorded, I feel like that's bullshit. You know, like what the hell? This happened last Thursday.
Okay.
So it feels very old, but we never got to cover it on the show. You know, this is exactly what happened when Hillary Clinton went on Howard Stern in December instead of October, which was fucked up because I was covering him at that time. So anyway, at Chipotle, this is from CNN. This is not my shit. At Chipotle, you can't fool anyone with a fake sick day. According to Business Insider CEO Brian Nichol told a conference Wednesday that nurses can check on employees who call in sick to see if they're genuinely ill and not hungover. Nichols told Today that the policy is to make sure all employees are healthy enough to prepare food, not to check on their drinking habits, which...
But you're going to throw them on the line if they're hungover, right?
Right.
Right? I mean, it's like, or dock their pay or something. Like, you're in trouble.
Yeah, and I think I wanted to... I think this is
Why do
something
you need? Why do you care? Like, if you don't give a shit about it, then you don't check it. You just let them use their time as they want.
And, okay, so if they have paid sick days, right? That, in my opinion, means you get paid to stay home because you're sick.
Yeah.
In my opinion, when you have a hangover,
You're sick as fuck.
you're sick.
Yeah, you're sick.
That's
I feel sick.
sickness. Yeah.
Although I'd
Yeah.
rather go to work and get paid for it, but you're definitely sick.
Yeah. I mean, I don't...
That counts as a sickness.
Exactly.
I drank too much poison. I'm sorry. I drank too much poison. We all drink poison. Everybody around here drinks poison. Everybody likes a little bit of poison after work. Okay? Some of us a little too much poison. So what? So what? It happens.
I can't fucking figure out, like... So is this... I can look at this as like a mega conspiracy. It's like two sort of different conspiracies, right? One, they're saying that they're not going to do this to see if people are hungover. They're saying that let's look for it.
They know. They're already letting you know. They're already letting you know we know whether or not you're sick or hungover.
Exactly. This
They're
is a threat.
It's broadcasting.
Yeah, this is a threat to their employees. This is not for their well-being. Because I posted this, and I got a lot of responses that are like, read the article, and I did read the article, and it said that this is a step in order for them to make sure that people aren't getting sick and coming in and poisoning.
Sounds
food.
great.
Yes, that is wonderful. I wish all restaurants would do that, but they don't, and everybody working is sick.
Yeah, let me ask you this. Let me tell you this too. What if somebody doesn't have any sick days left and they're sick? Are they going to test them and say, we can't let you work on the line, or are they going to say you have to work on the line?
If they really cared, here's what they would do if they really cared about their employees' health, and this will never happen anywhere. But what they would do is they would test you. They would do a fucking Theranos, like a saliva thing. They would make you spit in a cup, or they would make you lick a little diabetic strip, and then they'd be like, you have the flu. You cannot work at Chipotle. We'll pay you for your time off because you didn't get the flu on purpose.
Yeah.
Because
You can't be in charge of that.
nobody's gonna get sick to duck work because work is always better than being sick.
You can't take that deal, man, because then they're going to be like, if they catch you drinking, they're going to fuck you up.
Well, I just think that, like, there are different types of sick, and I don't think that anybody drinks to get a hangover either. I don't think you're making yourself sick when you call in sick with a hangover, right? Like, you are sick.
No, this Chipotle made me sick. God damn it. That's who made me sick. That's who made me drink all this poison. If I wasn't dealing with this fucking environment, I wouldn't need all this poison.
I mean, that is a valid point, too. It's kind of like, what makes me want to drink all the time? Work.
Yeah, this Chipotle, basically.
Yeah. I mean, that job seems hard as fuck to me. That's one of those fast food jobs that I look at, and I'm just like, okay, so, like, everybody back there is always working hard when I'm there.
Yeah.
There's never anybody just fucking standing around.
Well, there's constantly a line.
There is constantly a line, and now they even are making online orders, you know? And really probably can't afford to have people calling in sick. But the thing is, people get fucking sick.
Yeah, we know that. They got
you
all
should
the-
have enough people working.
The Chipotle people got the rest of us sick.
I know.
Remember the fuck at that place got sneezed on it a couple years back. Fucked
The
us all up.
Powell Chipotle, wasn't it? 670 people got sick off of the Chipotle. It was just north of Columbus. It's up by the zoo.
Yeah.
It's like Typhoid Mary of 2018.
It's also hilarious
is it-
because when I was a kid,
If it's your time, it's your time. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
when not when I was a kid, but when Chipotle first came to town, that was like a clean eating place. It was like people who were like slightly more upscale, who were trying to do the right thing when
Oh,
they
yeah.
ate.
Yeah.
Would go to Chipotle, and it was sort of like when Starbucks was like a signifier of a certain like class. You know, there was a time where people who drank Starbucks were considered like basically not everybody drank Starbucks. Now everybody drinks it, but there was a time, you know, and Chipotle was that. And to watch it fall as hard, like that's an incredible rise and fall. I think to me is the Chipotle story because now people just consider it a thing that makes you sick when you eat it.
Well, they have you go in every Chipotle, and of course it's a chain, so everything is designed identically. You know how they have all the holes in the wall?
Yeah.
Apparently, it's a big thing that people regularly will be waiting at Chipotle. Like Brett said, there's always a line. They'll stick their finger in the hole. The finger gets stuck in the hole. And then, like, EMTs have to come get the finger. I don't know if they have a special tool at this point, but they have to come and regularly, like, pull some dipshit's finger out of the wall.
Some wall art.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that could happen to me. I'll say I like to. If I see a hole big enough to put my finger, I just put it in there. It just seems like what's going on behind that.
Yeah.
You know, I'm curious. I'm a guy that like is looking. But my other like theory is this: this isn't just Chipotle. This is like bosses everywhere got together, and Chipotle drew the short straw, and they had to be the one that was like, we're hiring fucking nurses now, and you will not call in sick.
I think it's bullshit. I mean, I think it is an InfoWars campaign in that they are making their employees be afraid of this. But to put this out there and to pay a nurse for each Chipotle or to work what? How many stores does a nurse get assigned to? How much are you willing to pay for that versus not paying someone minimum wage job for the day is way cheaper than paying for 2 hours of a fucking nurse's time.
Right. And also, like, if the company's gonna hire a nurse, maybe she should like do something for their well-being too. It's like they hire a nurse to snitch on people. Like that's her only job, you know?
That puts somebody who's like a qualified nurse who has gone through all of this training and is like, I want to help people, and you end up ratting out hungover Chipotle employees to their fucking burrito boss. That's not right.
Yeah. You end up just dragging somebody, showing up to somebody's like showing up to somebody's house with like an IV or like a syringe to test them.
Yeah.
Take their blood.
How fucking wild is that? I mean, I would be fucked in today's workforce. I would either be miserable in my everyday life or fired every 3 months.
But I want to know if they're putting this into practice, and I don't know. I like it sucks because there isn't a lot of explanation behind it, like how they don't actually explain how this isn't like testing.
Well, they're just saying that it's like
we're only doing it because we care about the health and safety.
That's it. Yeah, they're saying this is how now we're gonna make it so people don't get poisoned by our food.
Unfortunately, we have to point out that a lot of you are just hungover and you're not actually sick, is what they're saying.
Right. Well, I've had jobs. Have you ever had like a job where you went in and you were like, I'm sick, and then they're like, what's wrong with you? As if they're like about to pass judgment on whether you're sick.
Oh yeah,
yeah. I mean,
absolutely.
Yeah, with the warehouse, like they would like doctors' excuses weren't even enough for them. If it wasn't contagious shit, they were like, okay, you went to the doctor, so what? It said you went at 10:45 in the morning. Your shift starts at 1 p.m. You know, like they were like on that tip. That's when I started getting into pink eye real big. Like I would just rub my fucking eye raw because that was like a contagious thing that was on the books. Like if you have conjunctivitis, like you get a whole fucking day off. So
smart.
I would show up to work with a red fucking eye, and they'd be like, "You gotta leave," and I'd be like, "Oh damn it! I went to work.
no.
I showed up. I put my work boots on for this. I didn't have like a new fucking Madden waiting at the house for me right now."
I worked with fucking food poisoning one day where I was like actually throwing up out of the van. Like I would stop and throw up real quick back behind the van and then go in and do the job and then stop and go to the van. I just kept, and I called my boss and was like telling him, and he was like, "Oh, is it really that bad? Like, are you like, have you, like basically he asked me if I had shit my pants."
Yeah.
And I said no, and he was like,
Yeah.
just gotta get through the day.
That's just a matter of timing. It could have happened.
I know. I mean, because I was raised to believe that when you want to call in sick and you're not really sick, you just tell them you have diarrhea because they're so uncomfortable they don't want to talk about the diarrhea. You know,
Yeah, that's a good move.
that was always the thing, and it worked for me every fucking time. One time I had my friend's dad call in and tell him I had diarrhea.
Oh, like it's got to be serious.
Yeah,
If there's some,
Brian's on the toilet, dude. He can't make it in.
We've been sitting
he's
here.
crying. He wants to work so bad.
Yeah, that's a hard sell. I can't like I went to work with a lot of hangovers. I also called off because of a lot of hangovers, but I also a lot of times when I called off, I was very strict about it where it was like they don't really need to know why.
I felt that way.
I
too.
got to the point when I was just so fed up with like being gainfully employed that I would just want to push the boundaries. Or I'd be like, "I'm not coming in today." Like, "Why are you not coming in today?" I was like, "I'm not coming in today because according to the attendance plan, I have 11.5 occurrences before I get fired, and I'm at 9 occurrences right now. So if I don't come in today, that's going to put me at 10 occurrences, which is enough to get me fired. That's why I'm not coming in."
Yeah, I was
like-
never.
There's nothing else you need to know, beyond that.
When I worked at the call center, they were open 365 days a year, 24 hours a day. And on Christmas, I called and said, "Hey, I'm not going to make it in. I'm sick." And the dude was like, "Oh, you got the Christmas flu?" And I was like, "Yeah." And then hung up on
Yeah, you know it. You know the one.
Like, I knew from the day they said I was going to have to work Christmas that I was definitely going to call off on Christmas.
Yeah.
Like,
And that's not fair. Because all the suckers that show up, they have a great time together. They have a memorable time, doing all the work for everybody else. They really build relationships.
have you ever worked like Thanksgiving, Christmas?
Yeah, absolutely.
Ever?
I
never
love
have,
extra
but-
money. Like I hate tradition and sentimentality and love extra money. So I have worked a lot. No, I've been in those crews where it's like nobody shows up and it's hilarious. Like 4-hour jobs of like calling people on Thanksgiving and bothering them. Like it's hilarious at that point. It's just like, I can't believe you're making me do this, but let's go for it.
Yeah,
People can still run a credit card today.
I've somehow gotten out of Thanksgiving and Christmas every year. Now, there was one year where there was like a really crazy ice storm, and they told me I was going to have to work on Christmas to restore cable, and I just said no. And then they were like, "Well, you got to come in. It's mandatory." And I was like, "Oh, well, you might want to put a sick day in there for me and just prepare for me not to be there." Definitely not going to be there.
Yeah.
Well, how about you come to my house, grab me by the hand, and drag me there and make me do it?
They would have taken that, dude, and it might even, they probably would have had to rough me up a little too.
Yeah.
I have always been very like, I hated working Saturdays. Like I had a period where I worked Tuesday through Saturday, and I felt like the fucking whole world was against me. Like I have never felt more aggrieved and like angry and just like stepped on than when I was working Tuesday through Saturday. Every Saturday I was pissed.
I
Just
used to
furious.
I used to go in on Saturdays to get overtime when I worked at this factory, and I would go in from like 7 to 11, and I was like, I've got the rest of the day, I've got the afternoon, but still I would go in, it would be very peaceful, but my job was recycling toxic waste.
Yeah.
So I would go in and I would like suit up, and I'd put like the ET, when they come through the tube on ET, I would put on like the whole suit and the face mask, and I'd stand there and I'd dump toxic waste into a larger container. And it was like I got to do stuff that wasn't part of my normal job, and I got paid extra. But it was like every time I was done, I was like, I just ruined my Saturday, even though I was done at 11.
Right. And you know what's funny about those days too is that attitude when you work like a Saturday and you're not supposed to work, that like different attitude you get to have when you come in. Like, because I would come into work on days that I didn't have to work sometimes too, just as like, oh, I could use a little bit of extra money. I'll work a little bit of overtime. And if my attitude was what my attitude was the days that I came in where I didn't have to every day, I would still be working a real job because I was always just like, say something to me, motherfucker. Fuck you, you know? I can leave if I want to.
You're like, this is my true self. This is when the real me comes out. Exactly.
When I'm on overtime, that's the real me.
Yeah. Dude, I would come into work if they asked me to work overtime at the cable company, I would like come into work in my regular ass shoes instead of my work boots. Shorts. Yeah. Wearing shorts, and it's like, oh, you don't like it? Send me home, I guess.
Extra day energy is great. When at the warehouse they did 7 days, they literally did a mandatory Sundays for people, and it was like we would show up and we were just crazed, like we were just fucking animals, like we were just looking at each other with like wildness in our eyes, like just asking for any reason to burn the place down, you know.
If somehow we could get everybody on extra hours mindset, we could get it like a way that would elevate it.
Yeah, then
it's like sort of it's you know what it is? It's like that is what you would be like in like my world. It's like the employees would be acting like that all the fucking time.
Oh yeah, you come in to your job Monday and it's 8:30 and you've been like fucking around for a half hour drinking coffee, and your boss comes in and your boss is wearing shorts with like coconuts on them, and then you're like, what's up? And your boss is like, I don't care, nobody's even supposed to be here today.
You know what, like
that would be slick, right?
Popular job, pays well. Post office, still pretty decent job. The one by me, I went to go to a pickup today, and there was a surly post office clerk there that is fucking hilarious. Someone walked up and said, "How you doing today?" And she said, "Okay, fine." She said, "I'm doing okay, doing dandy, doing fine. If you believe that, I'll give you another line."
Oh, is she like a character in the neighborhood?
Yes. At that post office, she is just constantly ribbing every single person there. She's like, "You're a customer. Like, you should stop doing that. Stop being a customer."
Is that the post office next to the Chinese buffet?
No, it's the North Broadway one, or Henderson Road. Sorry, Henderson, the Clinton building. It's the big switch point for this area.
I used to have a post office box next to the Chinese buffet, and I would drop so much stuff off there that they like very aggressively hated me.
She was just she was a few of the people. Like I really enjoyed the way that they conducted themselves, because there was a woman that looked like she was confused at the counter on what box she would use, and the other clerk was like, "Well, you need to go grab one of the boxes over there, which are flat rate, and that's like the amount is on the box, or you need to go over there and use one of these boxes. That's all calculated by size, weight, all of that." And the woman's just looking at her confused, and then she was like, basically what I'm saying is you need to go either there or there. You need to like leave from in front of me right now. Like, I don't have anything else to offer you. Like, I've gave you the two decisions. Like, I'm done guiding you on your mission of mailing something today. Well, it's a good post office.
My favorite is that like whoever is above them is either like not hammering down, or it's like so bad that they're like, nobody else will do this job. I can say whatever I want. Like, I love it. I have a box now. It's at the Hub downtown. It's on Twin Rivers. It's like right next, you pull out and you see the whole downtown like open up with the big iPhone ad.
Yeah.
And I saw a new clerk get hired down there. She was really, really super nice. And I go in 2-3 times a week, right? And I have to go to the desk. The whole routine. You mail a lot of stuff. I've always had to mail a lot of stuff. and go in. She's like, "How are you today?" And I was like, "Ooh, wow, what's with the good attitude?" I didn't say anything, but I was like, "Well, I've never seen her here before." And I went in, and then I remember there was a day when I went in. It was like after Thanksgiving. She got hired sometime in like September. I go in after Thanksgiving, and she is giving somebody the fucking routine. She's like, "You fill this out before you come to the desk. I need you to understand this. You walk right over there. You do not come up to me until every letter and number is filled in on this form." And then she sees me. She's like, "Oh, hi, how are you?" I'm like, "Here's my stuff."
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean,
Like 6 weeks, 8 weeks, it just destroyed any bit of goodwill she had. And I understand
gotta be
it, but
efficient.
it's
Yeah.
I understand it.
I tweeted about it, but I was saying that like even doing promotion for the live show to me at this point a little bit feels like forced customer service voice, where I'm like, "Hey everybody, I hope you come out this Friday the 27th. I'm gonna have a great time myself. I'm just jazzed about it. I can't wait for it to see all your smiling faces! Exclamation point! Exclamation point! You know."
yeah, I mean,
And like they don't have to do that. Like they have protections. They have like a workplace where they don't have to do that. They're
a good union.
yeah.
And,
Yeah.
and
I mean, not
the-
a good. I mean, I've heard that slipping, but there is one of the aspects of it that I do like about it is the honesty and the openness. And that people aren't forced to act like, this is the most pleasant thing they're doing.
Well, that's the same thing with the BMV. Is it's kind of like you have to fucking come here. So guess what? Fuck you. And like the way I think about like an employee like that, where you're saying like that what the situation is with the boss. There is always the possibility that the boss is afraid of her, which is like I've seen that happen where somebody is just like I've been the person that's like so much you just become so much that like the boss is just at a time it's just like fuck it, just let him do what he's gonna do. Like he's fuck him. Yeah, I'm not gonna fire him. I've felt like that before but there were guys I worked with at all my old jobs, like in the call center. There was like this old punk rock guy, and he stunk at answering phones. I mean, I'm talking like he was surly to everybody. And so instead of fucking firing him, they made him a manager so he wouldn't have to be on the phone anymore. And he was just a manager. And he's just like this old fucking punk rock guy that was like not good at his job, but I think they were just afraid of him. So they were like, let's not promote that guy.
Damn it. See, that would be my job before the internet, before social media. That's why it would have been.
What?
Just some mean customer service manager like, "I don't know, you're not going to get any satisfaction from me, man."
Well, it was more like just, I don't think he was surly to the customers as much as like he didn't follow the call rules, which we did not have a script. There wasn't a script. There was like kind of an opening you had to do where it's like how they say wrestling promos should be written. They told you where you had to go and like what had to get in. And part of answering the phones at this place, I was doing tech support, is that thank you for calling bellsouth.net. My name is Brian. Can I get your first and last name? And then you ask for their email address and then their phone number, and then they're like, and it was like, what can I help you with today? And then they would tell you what the issue was that you could help them with, and then your response had to be, "I'm sorry that is happening to you." And like a lot of people, I mean, probably mostly dudes had a really hard time with the "I'm sorry," because it's like, I'm not sorry, dude. I'm not sorry your internet doesn't work. I got fucking nothing to do with your internet, And like I failed a lot too on that. It was just like,
Did you ever say that sucks like that?
That would be better though. That would actually,
because that would be like if I was like, hey, because I always try to do the thing. I'm like, hey, first of all, I tried flipping the switch and stuff. I tried jiggling. I tried jiggling. I did all this stuff you want me to do because I don't want to waste your time. And then if the guy just said that sucks, I'd be like, yeah, what's up? Now we're talking.
I mean, I hated you. Can I tell you that? Like, in all of my jobs, the guy that called in to the internet job that said, I already did this, and this, so you don't have to worry about that right now. I was like, fuck you, man.
Oh, but I didn't say it like that. I didn't. That's
But
a
you-
tone.
and- or when
That's
you
a
go-
tone problem.
Or when you go to work, I would go to work at people's houses fixing their cable and shit, and they'd be like, I already tried that, and I'd be like, okay, well, I gotta try it. Because, like, so many times, there is a requirement that the worker put you through that no matter what.
Yeah.
Like,
But-
there's a
and you-
script where they have to put you through that. You
And
know?
they can't. If you go to somebody's house, you can't trust that they actually
Oh, I know.
did it.
I know.
Right?
Or right.
So they're
Well, I always say though, I mean, I don't give a shit about what the person on the other line thinks about, but you can jump ahead. If you do tell them what you've already done, I have been on customer service calls where they are fluid enough to be like, all right, okay, well, we can work on something else. But then sometimes they're like, well, sir, I still have to ask you to reboot the machinery. And it's like, all right.
Whenever-
well,
It drives me fucking
I got to
crazy.
figure out who, but like, you have to figure out who you're dealing with, right?
Yeah. Yeah,
Like
you
which one
do.
it's going to be. It's
You
like,
do, because-
are you like clamped down in a flow chart that you have to squeeze me through, or are you a little more freewheeling?
Well, I think that, like, on the side of the repair person or the person on the other side of the phone, at least with me, it was just kind of like, this 99% of the time, this fixes the fucking problem. And, like, we should at least give it a shot now. And then if it doesn't work, I'll go to the extra step. Like, I would just,
Yeah.
you would go into a person's house and you would unplug their cable box for like 5 seconds and then plug it. I never did it for 5 seconds. The listeners has informed me that there is a difference, but I was always under the understanding that it didn't matter how many seconds. So anyway, I would unplug it and then plug it back in. And every time I did, a lot of times I did that, dudes would be like, I already did that. And then I would say 60% of those times, the problem was them in the past trying to fix their own cable and fucking something up.
Yeah.
Like going to Radio Shack and buying the tools and trying to do it themselves. Like when you finally get down to it, I mean, when you fix things for a living, you do find out that like a lot of it is the customer's fault. Like just in
Oh,
in a
yeah.
And it's
percentage,
wild
you
what
know?
people will do.
Yeah, it is.
Like bikes, like getting people's old bikes that they're like, oh, I tried to fix it. And it was like, how did you round this nut? Like, why didn't you choose something else? How did you go all the way to to taking every single edge off of this fucking nut?
It's funny, man, because people don't like. I have kind of learned to like over the years. I've kind of learned to just be patient with the person on the other end of the phone when it comes to like troubleshooting my internet and stuff. Because like I do understand that their hands are tied. Because if you do send a person to somebody's house, you can end up getting in trouble for that later on. If the
Yeah.
person who went to the house decides that it was unnecessary to have gone to the house, then they can go back to work and tell your boss, and then you know what I mean? Like it trickles back to you all the time. It's so fucking weird being.
And
I think
if-
my experience as a repairman was like it was just one of the most enlightening things about how people actually are, you know?
And if that's the thing is that I am never ever like mean to people on the phone because number one, I know how much it sucks ass to
you done it?
be there. I have not done call center work, but
lucky.
literally everybody I know that lives in Columbus has done call center work.
Yeah, there's lots of phone work here.
And it's like, first off, it's like no matter how pissed off I get, I will always be like, if the guy's like, okay, I need you to do this, I will always be like, okay. I was like, yeah, they make you do that, right? I will always try to be like nice to the person. And I always, just because like, no matter what I've got going on, no matter how much it pisses me off to like not be online right now, I'm just like, this is the person that is going to determine my fate.
It is.
Like,
it is.
No,
and like beyond like just being nice to other people, which is just a weird priority of mine, probably like a pathology.
But it's also hard to be nice to them. This is where we're talking.
Oh,
this is
yeah,
what
no.
separates
it's
the
not.
nice
It's
from
not
the
hard.
mean.
It's not hard to be nice.
I feel, and this is part of the thing, Brian, is that I will force myself to be nice. I will force myself to calm down. And part of it is like me taking a deep breath, and then in my mind I'm like, I'm so fucking nice. I am so good. I am so mad right now, but I am not even going to say anything. This guy, he just works over here. I am so mad, and he is going to listen to how calm I am, and he's going to know how good I'm being right now.
I mean, I've done a lot of years on the phone, and I do have to say that, like, and I do get better results when you take that person on your side as someone that can help you solve the problem.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Yeah.
you have
Yeah.
to, like, the company sucks. The company is frustrating, and they have a lot of rules, and this person deals with this stuff all day long. They are in charge of how far you get in your circumstances. And when you start cussing at them, like when people would cuss at me and when people would call me fucking names, I had a guy that one time that said he was in the mafia, he was gonna get my whole family killed and stuff. Like, I would just feign stupidity. Like, I would just pretend like I didn't know what he was saying and like I couldn't get it done and like I didn't understand what he was saying.
Yeah.
Like, I could just make the whole thing shut down and make nothing happen.
Just be stupid.
Yeah,
be like,
just
I'm
be
just a stupid guy answering the phone.
You think I'm a moron? Everybody that calls into this place thinks I'm a moron. I could just play stupid and get
It's
myself
true.
out of any fucking call that I want to, and you're not going to get what you want. You're going to fulfill your prophecy, right? You're going to prove yourself right that the phone company is full of idiots and that you can't get what you want because I pretended to be stupid. But if you call in and you say, this is very frustrating to me, okay, I spend all day long looking at the rules, and I know what's very frustrating about the rules. And if you come clean about it, and if you sidle alongside of me and say, this is a frustrating thing because I expected this and I thought things were going to go this way, that is how you get someone to help. That is how you get through the next thing.
I mean, that's
bitching your way all the way to the manager might get you like a $200 gift card or something that you can brag about on Facebook. But like,
I'm never ever gonna get some fucking regular person in trouble. I'm never gonna put somebody in trouble. Like, it's not their fucking company. If your internet goes out, it's either because a squirrel chewed through the wire, which literally has happened to me.
Yeah,
a squirrel.
Everybody, we should kill all the squirrels. Actually,
yeah, that's.
they used to talk about putting squirrel poison on the poles.
Yeah,
they're like, people don't want squirrels dropping dead from like. But I think.
But there was always. I just want to say, to wrap it up. Sorry to cut you off. There was always, like, once every few months, there was one insane asshole that would just be mean all the way through and never say a cuss word and would just keep escalating it. And he would run roughshod over the whole business and he would do Better Business Bureau and all that stuff. There was one asshole that would take advantage of it, but anybody else that treated me like shit and everybody else that treated like the people like shit, they just got shut down. They just never got what they wanted. You just stayed frustrated. You call in frustrated, calling people names, you're going to fucking stay that way.
The guys that get what they want. I'll tell you, the only mean people that get what they want are this is unacceptable people, is what I used to call them. And, like, they are honestly the worst people in the world. And if I could find all of the this is unacceptable people, I would put them in jail. Because I think they're a blight on the fucking world. But they do end up winning in the end. But, like, I have had people tell me absolutely impossible.
I know.
Like, you will tell them this is not scientifically possible.
Yeah.
And they'll be like, that's unacceptable. We got to figure out how that. And it's like, well, I can't make. It would be like, you can only have so many TVs hooked up, and you would tell somebody, well, if you have 16 TVs hooked up, you're going to need an amplifier, and that's going to cost you $100. We'll install it for $100, and they'd be like, that is unacceptable. And it's like, you have 16 fucking TVs!
Yes, you got a little extra circumstance going on. You got to pay to play here, buddy. You got to pay the cost to be the boss. You got 16 TVs, my friend.
I know. And those were that's the thing, too. It's those people that don't need it that are the ones that become the problem.
It's always, the people that... It would be, we would you would take advantage of just millions of customers, and it would be the guy that got slighted on $4 that would take it all the way to court. That would just be like,
oh yeah.
That's unacceptable. That does it.
I mean, that really, when people talk about, may I speak to your manager? I feel like they should throw that as unacceptable in there. Like, I think that should be another phrase that we we get rid of that phrase. No more that is, because that is a frustrating thing to hear as a worker. Period, from a customer, because it just is like it symbolizes a type of person who is smart enough to know what the fuck they're doing, and they're just being an asshole. They know they're being an asshole, and they're just going to be an asshole until you make them happy. You know what I mean?
Well, imagine I don't know. I always feel like when I call in or I'm doing something, I'm like, well, I would like the internet to work. But I can't imagine calling in and being like, no, don't you understand how much I want the internet to work? Don't you understand how important I am? Like, that just never, can I speak to your, I don't want to speak to your manager. Your manager's probably an asshole.
Yeah.
I'm just going to call in and I'm going to see if you can make the internet work. And if it's just not going to happen, then it's not going to happen.
I mean,
yeah, but what about when you have people that are what about some people that are like, well, my internet was out for 13 hours and I prorated it, and that's going to be a cost of $276, and I'd like to have that credited on my bill.
I would love to have free $5, but I don't think I could have it on my soul. It makes me feel so bad to be mean to just regular people. It would just stain my fucking day. It's okay, you have a Grand Theft Auto mission. You can go to a nursing home. You find this one old guy, and if you punch him in the face, you get $10. I don't want the $10.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna make somebody. I'm not gonna hurt somebody. I'm not gonna make them feel bad.
Well, and you also have to understand that, in regards to customer service, and that's the only kind of job I've ever done. Managers are hired to be brick walls. And I don't think people understand that you can probably get more from being nice to the person that answers than you can from the man. Because I've seen some managers, I mean, they just...
The only... I'm sorry, go ahead.
I mean, they're just they soak up psychic abuse, and it makes them more powerful, it seems like.
To me, I don't care how unfavorable it is. The only good manager is one where you tell them what you already said and they go and back you up. Yeah. I would say the wrong, policies, and I would tell my manager, and they were like, all right, we got to tell them no, though, because you already said that. We don't let people just walk in here and just tell us how shit's run. We tell them how we do shit around here.
That's nice. That's
the
excellent.
Only good manager is one where you can tee them up and be like, you got to go in strong arm. You got to make them walk out of here with their tail between their legs for asking for you. They had me, the nice one. I was the baby face here.
Yeah, they don't ever want... I mean, you don't understand. You do not want the manager most times, I thought, since it is December, and, it'll be fun, I thought we'd cover the war on Christmas a little bit.
Is it happening still?
We're pre-Christmas, and
I'm not doing a good job. I like Christmas.
I have 5 articles about the war on Christmas, so that... Here's the thing. These 5 articles I picked out of 100 articles about the war on Christmas and opinion pieces.
It's happening still on their end to them. There's they're like a soldier that's stuck in their man cave thinking about the war on Christmas over and over again.
It is. It's only one side. It's the same thing with Thanksgiving. That Trump was they're gonna change the name of fucking
Oh, yeah.
Thanksgiving.
They're trying to make it Friendsgiving.
Yeah, is that what they're saying?
Yeah, that's what they were worried about.
I have heard people saying that. I think I heard it on Minion Death Cult.
Yes, they
Some
covered
woman
it.
was mad about Friendsgiving.
There were some articles written. There was some scuttlebutt. It's probably not sweeping the nation, but yes, there is. The fucking president did acknowledge it, though.
We call it Friendsgiving.
He's like,
People
we-
just call it that.
No,
That's-
we say Thanksgiving. The president, I proudly say Thanksgiving. I'm thankful for this shit. I'm not just friendly about it. I'm thankful for this
Oh
shit.
wow. Yeah, Friendsgiving is just when your friends come over, because
They're
you're
nervous because all of their kids are more excited about Friendsgiving and they keep their Friendsgiving dates, but like the
yeah.
family, all of a sudden they have sicknesses that were probably hangovers.
Their kids are Friendsgiving. Their kids are leaving Thanksgiving after
Yes.
2 hours to do the Friendsgiving because
Yes.
the food's better.
Well, Jenny made some fresh green bean casserole for me that isn't from a can, so I'm gonna go over there. Right?
What's
Like,
so bad? Let's put ourselves first in the conservative mindset. Like, why is Friendsgiving not as good as Thanksgiving? Like, nobody's trying to change the name of it. We all know why we're here. We're here for Thanksgiving, I guess.
Yeah.
You know? But what is wrong with a distinction between the one you do with your family that sucks and the one you do with your friends that kicks ass?
well, I mean, I have to be honest. Like, I am on the front lines this year. I did no family Thanksgiving. I only did Friendsgiving.
Yeah,
it was the
me
shit.
too.
It was
Oh,
only like
wow, really?
smiling, happy faces of the people that I love without the miserable fucking relatives. It was
There wasn't
great.
any
Well,
racism at all
There was
in
no,
our
yeah, there was
Thanksgiving.
no weird, there was no circumstances. No one to talk about like kneeling at football. Nobody had to. No, nobody showed me their gun. Like nothing. It was great.
No Colin Kaepernick talk at
Nothing.
all, huh? Yeah. Well,
There was not a lot less sour cream, right?
yeah. It's great. I like the Thanksgiving with friends. I don't like sitting with like
They're
people
losing.
I'm forced to be around. And you're right. They're
Remember-
losing.
So yeah, in Brave New World, Aldous Huxley's book, they get rid of like the nuclear family, which is like kind of a good idea.
I love it. I love it.
because like I feel like I should convince my kid to like me. Like I shouldn't force her to like me just because we have DNA. Like I have to like work on that relationship like everybody else.
You need to engage your kid in a way that's pro-social.
Yeah.
So they value their relationship with you. That goes both ways.
Right.
I mean, our parents' generation were so stupid. They're like, we're really big about family values, and it's like your family is so fucked up and dysfunctional, and you've done nothing to address it at all. Like you're oblivious. Like they're so closed off, they're so stupid, and they just continue being arrogant assholes that don't look around. Like when all of their grandbabies are in jail and having kids at 14 and like fucking up everything. They're taking like their shit is fucked up. I really don't know how these family first conservative people have anything to brag about because I'm not jealous at all of their lifestyle.
I mean, really, how much easier would it be if you could all, take loads off for each other? You know what I mean? If it was like, yeah, man, Charlotte doesn't want to live with Brad anymore because he's a dick. She just comes and lives with me now. You
That's
know what
another
I mean?
Aldous Huxley book.
Yeah,
Aldous Huxley.
that's
wrote
all it is.
Island. He wrote The Island, and it was about extended families where kids could be like take a little bit of break from their parents, which I'm pretty cool with actually.
I
if
like the idea,
Charlotte wants
too.
to live with you for 6
We can
months.
trade kids.
After Gwen is gone, if she needs to stay with you for 6 months, I could use the break.
We'll trade kids. My kid's like a break compared to a young kid,
Yeah.
Like my kid would be a good assignment because she just sits in her bed all day.
Yeah, she could just help me spend money and shit.
Yeah. So the first people that waged war on Christmas this year were the FAA,
Who's that?
the Federal Aviation Administration.
Okay.
Between January 1st and November 23rd, the agency recorded 5,486 laser incidents. People are shooting lasers in the fucking sky.
If I was, listen, they didn't have lasers when I was a kid, but if they had those fucking lasers, I would have absolutely been that little asshole. I would have gone out and tried to aim the laser at the airplane, because that's really, it's really funny. I got a Facebook ad the other day, and it's like, have you ever wanted a laser that would burn paper? And it was like a laser, and you twist it, and it's also a flashlight. And they turned it, and it illuminated like a whole building, and it was like you can get 2 for $39.99. Like, I would have taken all my spare change to Thriftway or whatever and got like the laser on mail order. I would have fucking lasered the planes, and they'd be like, who was lasering these planes? Like, it was me.
Yeah, my friend's grandma used to live by the airport, and we used to always want to go over there and shoot bottle rockets at the planes, because that was like always a big thing when you were a kid. They'd be like, people shooting fireworks up by the airport or getting arrested for it. And we were like, oh, that's hilarious. Let's shoot fireworks up by the airport.
Yeah,
you know,
I would have. I mean, that's pathetic. Your little bottle rockets are going to hit those planes. I would have walked up with some sort of plans for building like a rocket that could take one down.
Did you when you guys see? Because I know you guys are my age, but I know you got online like later than I did. I got online super early, and I used to go and get like Anarchist Cookbook. And so they had all these plans, and me and my friends would sometimes build this shit. I think
smoking banana leaves, the inside of banana scraping,
smoking banana peels.
That's done more damage to anarchism than anything in the history of the world.
That was a science. Yeah, that wasn't like a setup.
Well,
we tried.
It was like a CIA shit.
I figured it was.
Yeah.
Oh, was it really?
Smoking peanut shells too was another one. Cinnamon was, I think, made the debut in there.
How to
too.
make napalm?
Yeah, with
we did the
napalm.
napalm though, the gasoline and the styrofoam together.
We did a lot of that.
So I wanted to say though, sorry, I want to go into the thick of it though. In that, with this story, December really does we need to have a national conversation about making all the rules different for this month.
I know,
because my wife and your wife have a birthday the same exact week, and I think that all December birthdays should be redistributed throughout the year, because there's no way that you can afford to do this shit and also do presents and the other shit.
Absolutely.
And that's the same with the plane stuff, where it's like, all right, but it's December, which means that some guy is going to spend his retirement account to build a display that does Slayer Christmas that has laser lights that shoot into the stratosphere. And you have to, planes have to deal with that. That's December shit. Don't fly in December if you don't want to deal with laser lights. That's just how we get down.
I mean, if I was a War on Christmas guy, which I am not, I don't think there's a War on Christmas. The thing that would bother me the most, I think a thing that bothers me the most, this is maybe my most traditional guy opinion, but I hate those giant inflatables, and I hate the laser light, the people that just reflect laser
the projector
on their house that just goes it's fuck this, man. This isn't Christmas. Christmas lights take time and it's effort and it's hard to do. It's not just laying something outside and saying check it out, you know?
Do you do the Christmas lights?
No, I don't do Christmas lights, but I feel like if you do Christmas lights, you should do the fucking Christmas. If I did them, I would fucking do it. I would get up there and I'd staple the fucking things to the gutter and have a whole Christmas lights display. See,
I've done Christmas lights on the porch, just on the porch. I'm not going to get all the way up on the roof. And then that was the first year we lived in our house. It's let's be festive, because we live kind of in the suburbs, right? And it's everybody's being festive. We'll do that. And then I was well, and then the next year I was the lights are all fucked up and tangled and broken, whatever. And I was I figured out the solution. I'm going to get nets, and I'm going to put nets on the bushes. So I threw some nets out on the bushes, and those worked pretty well. We did those for a couple of years, and then I was I need to go minimal and put just a very small, but it was a fake tree, but I put it on the porch, but I just put lights on the fake tree. And then my daughter was rustling for years and years. She's I want the lasers. And I was No, I don't want to get. I'm not gonna buy that. We have the nets. The nets are in the garage. Go untangle the nets. And then finally, she literally went on Amazon and she found it and she got the link. She's like, the lasers are like $19.99. And I was like, fine, I got it. We have the lasers.
Furious about
And
that.
the lasers rock.
I think that I just don't think you. I mean, Drew, you're a non-traditional guy. I'm just saying that, like, if you're a fucking guy that's fighting the war on Christmas on the Christmas side, right? And you got lasers, fuck you. You
Oh,
not,
yeah,
not you
yeah.
personally.
No,
I think
totally.
It's fine if you do lasers.
Totally. No, if you're going to stand up for Christmas, get up there on the ladder and do your Christmas. Go get your Christmas tree and get all of your antique ornaments that are heirlooms. You have to do it. If you're not doing it, then you're opposing Christmas.
Yeah, you're being neutral on a moving train.
And
You
if
know, I just think the inflatable things have become this like blight on society. I think they look bad.
Yeah,
And it's every holiday now. They'll put a turkey one for Thanksgiving.
not yet. Turkey can't be commodified. Nobody likes fucking turkeys. No one wants to look at them. Thanksgiving is pretty pure. Halloween has been bastardized forever. There's Nightmare Before Christmas. There's Oogie Boogies and like Beetlejuice sandworms that are inflatables now. I don't know. Here's what I have to say. I feel like as a experienced designer myself, the laser lights, the projector, it's all tools. It's all a collage. It's all putting together an experience. And the inflatables are obnoxious. When someone just is like, I spent $600 on my Lowe's credit card to put Yoda next to Yukon Cornelius in my fucking front yard. It sucks. It's like, you didn't do shit, man. You just want to run up there and stab those fucking
I do
things.
too. I hate them. The
But-
fucking Minion Christmas. There's a house.
I have them though. I am pro
I know.
inflatable. I have a narwhal and I have a penguin. My daughter hugs them before she leaves for school.
oh,
She loves them.
I mean,
And they're a part of our Christmas experience. I do put up lights, I do put up inflatables, and I have a projector because it's like
that's fine.
cheap fun. You know about cheap fun, dude, right? It's like
No.
when I went to Aldi, they had projector lights for $9.99, and it's like you put this out in front of your house, and then the whole thing is covered in snowflakes. Easy buy.
See,
That's
now
an easy
you're-
buy.
Now you're making it feel like I'm being a dick and saying like people who do this don't care about Christmas. And
No,
that
there's
is,
a
like
cheap-
totally not what I'm saying.
No, it's nuance. I mean,
I'm saying that like if you're this person that like fucking thinks that the Starbucks cup should say Merry Christmas instead of Merry Coffee or Happy Holidays. If you're like one of these people and all you can fucking muster is a Snoopy inflatable on your front lawn, fuck you. You know, fuck. You're not even like a soldier at all.
yeah, make that. Yeah,
and
you're right.
Mary Coffee is the worst fucking thing
It's
I've
funny
ever
that it says it
seen.
though. It's funny. I saw it on the cup today, and I was just like, "Merry Coffee." Like this
Who
is
says
not
that?
going to make anybody happy.
It-
Starbucks cups.
It's Starbucks. I was walking through the grocery
Merry
because
coffee, Merry coffee, Merry coffee. That's weird.
they have the Starbucks in the grocery store. And I was walking by and it said Merry Coffee in the extra one. And then you go in the other side because it's like a standing sign. The other side says, what does it say? It says like Happy New Yum or something.
I don't.
What the fuck is your problem?
I know that Merry Coffee is on the cups. And I was like, this isn't going to make anybody happy. I
No.
mean, like, anybody who's anti-Christmas is going to look at that and be like, oh, what does this mean?
Did you see? I'm sure you saw when they got Starbucks for all the cops and Starbucks typed it into their computer to say pig on the
No,
cups.
yeah, but that's now become like a
Yeah.
whole thing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you see there was a resolution of that.
Yeah. She didn't do it.
Well, somebody knew the person. Somebody did it
Yeah.
as a jokey joke.
Okay.
Somebody that worked there thought it was funny, like, to call them a pig, and then it was, like,
Right.
turned into a national catastrophe that got their boss fired.
Yeah.
Oh man.
The latest battlefront in the war on Christmas is South Sutter Charter School in Northern California. Brooklyn Benzel, a 13-year-old 8th grader, was told she could not perform an instrumental version of Joy to the World because the song is too religious. I love this shit.
Yes.
This is my favorite kind of shit because listen, like liberals, this is the shitty thing about liberals is they would be like, oh, these fucking progressives are going too far. We gotta give a little to get a little. And I'm like, no, we need some fucking radical school administrators to say that Joy to the World instrumental is too religious. We need that.
Honey, no, honey, that's a bad idea. That's not secular enough for what we do here. That's just not for our program.
If you're gonna send your kid to a fucking charter school and you're that Christian, why don't you send them to a Christian school?
There
Well,
are religious schools.
Yeah,
Yeah.
stick to your own kind.
The education special.
What? Oh, the Lord has come. Got it.
Yeah,
I was going through the song.
Doesn't even fucking offend me.
I was going through the song in my head,
The
saying,
Lord is born now.
The Lord has come.
Well, the first time they say the Lord is born, and then they said,
"The
and
Lord."
let's receive the King or some shit like joy to
But-
the world.
Yeah.
The Lord is born.
But
And
it's the
come.
Lord has come, and
Has
that's
come.
like
That's jacking off. So that's fine.
He's new to Christmas.
I am. I actually am. This is the first year I'm caring about it. So anyway,
But yeah, I mean, the Jesus stuff is really just about the sun. So it's like when they say the sun, they literally mean like Cro-Magnon people trying to make sense of a glowing bright ball thing in the sky. They're talking about the sun, right?
yeah, the
The earth-
education specialist said the song might be deemed inappropriate because it might be too religious. So that was her statement.
She
And
thought it
then-
was gonna offend somebody.
So yeah, so this daughter, this 13-year-old Brooklyn
Nobody's offended
Benzel,
by
her mom is running for Congress,
Oh no!
and they told me the Savior in heaven might be crossing the line, is what she said on Todd Starnes show. She used her kid to get some publicity for her
This is
thing.
great.
oh,
Because
that's-
they
perfect.
said in the story also.
They should have let her play that song though. Really, is that really like no one's gonna be turned on to fucking Christianity from this stupid song?
but
Right,
it's
I
the
understand.
instrumental. If
it is
the- if-
also an instrument.
if she sang the words, but it's
That's true,
just
like-
a little melody,
unless
and
you don't
like
know, if you don't know it, you
yeah,
don't know it.
yeah.
Like
And
my
it's-
kid wouldn't be able to sing along. She doesn't know about the Lord has come, right?
Right. I'm just saying I think it's funny when they tell them. I
You
love
want them
the
to tell them
idea
no more?
of the school administrator saying, "Don't you pray before this test."
Get off your knees.
Sick and tired. of
Stop praying.
like I
Just
always,
like ripping some kid up by the arms and like refuse to stop praying.
it makes
Pushing
me
them,
laugh.
pushing them down onto their knees at football games, and then hauling them up by their collar when they start to pray before the test.
Yeah.
So the school suggested that Brooklyn consider playing a more secular holiday tune like Jingle Bells.
It's not acceptable. It
Yeah.
doesn't go as hard.
What?
It doesn't go as
harder
hard.
than Joy to the World. Actually.
Jingle bells are like redundant.
Fast. You know, it's like row, row, row your boat. It's like get fucking going nuts on this.
I mean,
Jingle Bells is pretty hype because
I-
everybody knows Jingle Bells, and you can really, and then it's all
It's
about
about
the
being-
tension and release because you go and you're like, yeah, through the snow, one horse, Jingle Bells, and you're like, yes. If you're a kid, you're like, yes.
Jingle bells is about like a fucking long car ride.
We
but
know-
like Joy to the World is like next level shit.
It's like soul music,
yeah,
is what you're saying.
yeah, that goes there.
So-
Imagine if you actually played soul music at a Christmas concert, like the straight, like the 4/4, like ha ha ha, like that shit. That's what everybody's doing. Then you actually had something that was like even minimally funky. Like everybody would lose their shit. They would be like, there really is a war on Christmas.
I know. So the next thing is Walmart had to apologize this year, which they're always apologizing because they let people sell shit on
Well,
their site.
I mean, when you're number one, everyone's gunning for you.
Are they number one still?
I mean, everyone shops there. You have no other option.
Amazon's number one.
Is Amazon number one?
They're at number one. They're way bigger than Walmart at this point. They
Fair.
were selling.
For like walking in places, like there's still people that have to do walking in business.
yeah.
I mean, that's the financial situation. Is that like people still rely on WalMarts for a lot of stuff.
Yeah, so they let you sell shit on the Walmart site.
And
Like any old buddy.
buy glasses and buy pretzels and all kinds of shit.
Yeah, Walmart does fucking everything.
Yeah,
man. But they let third party sellers sell things on Walmart.com.
Yeah, Amazon has a similar scheme. They're like copying off of them, where that like anyone can sell what they want through Amazon, and Walmart has open vendors. This happens a lot because they were selling like Blue Lives Matter and Antifa shit through Walmart before, and it was a big controversy. And then Walmart was like, I mean, we're not in charge. Like, we don't sell that at the store or nothing. We just charge those people 10% to get it to you.
Well, you know what you could do if you wanted to absolutely drive some people insane is go on Spreadshirt or Teespring or wherever and make up one-off shirts that are like, and first off, there's like stuff you can't say on the internet, so I won't say that, but just make up designs that's like, hey, cops are actually against all the people, and then hang them on the rack. Match the color, find the color of the shirt, hang it on the rack at Walmart, and take a picture.
It says cops are killers.
Yeah, right. Hey, kids and babies, like girls 7 to 14, like, I'm a cop killer and I'm cute. Like at Walmart, they've got the shirts that say like too dumb for math. You just hang a shirt over it that says, I stomped the American flag. You gotta love me. And then you take the picture and you put it on the conservative Facebook, and they'll lose their fucking shit. They'll be like, Walmart is selling this in the store.
That's actually well, this is what happened here. The ugly sweater craze of America that I hate, and that's another thing I'm gonna start yelling at.
You're right.
I hate ugly sweaters.
You're right. It's the same low effort shit.
Yeah.
Back in the days when I was a hipster, when it was still the 90s, you went to the store and you actually found something ugly. You didn't pay for tipsy elves to send something to your house.
Right. Well, they made a sign, which is actually a cool ugly sweater, sort of, if I would ever decide to wear one, with a snowman sitting on a couch with 3 lines of Coke in front of him that said, "Let it snow." And Walmart had to apologize because it was on their site. And I was like, that's actually a
slip through the cracks. Yeah.
Yeah, things slip through the cracks. All right, so Breitbart.
Well, I wanted to say, because someone did mention this, and it stuck out to me. Someone in the chat, Casey Gab Salad, says Walmart oil changes are prol as fuck.
Yeah, a lot of people have said that like their oil changes are super cheap and good. I just never have done it.
My dad changed our oil when we lived in an apartment. My dad was the guy that changed and did all of the maintenance in the apartment complex parking lot. And when I graduated from school and went on my own at 18, I was like, Dad, you need to teach me how to do an oil change. And he was like, Walmart does it for $17.95, and I don't think you can do that cheaper. You're by yourself. He's like, you should just look for the coupon and just go get it done there, son. That's how you get your oil changed.
I do Groupon a lot, but, my car. Amazon is touting a new children's book narrating the birth of Jesus Christ as its #1 new release in children's Christian holiday fiction. Well, that sounds good.
Yeah,
right?
Finally.
The book, The First Christmas, by Breitbart Rome bureau chief Thomas D. Williams, is an illustrated children's poem describing the nativity of Jesus in anapestic tetrameter, the same poetic meter used in Clement Clarke Moore's classic Christmas poem, A Visit from St. Nicholas. Unlike A Visit from St. Nicholas and other holiday poems, however, Williams' book actually tells the nativity story exactly as recounted in the Gospels of St. Luke and Matthew, without the addition of fictional embellishments. By calling the work holiday fiction, therefore, Amazon would seem to suggest it believes that the birth of Jesus, as recounted in the Christian Bible, is simply an imaginative fabrication.
Oh. Got him. Somebody had some categorizer. Got them.
Dude, are there more aggrieved people that, like, they say that the left is whiny all the time, and they put a book about a ghost man that lives in the sky in the fiction section, and they got mad about it.
Yeah, they're pissed.
The last one is just a little New York Times update about the Wisconsin State House. The Congress, the Democratic governor in Wisconsin, is calling the Christmas tree a holiday tree. And the Republicans are pissed off about it and yelling in Congress that it's actually a Christmas tree. And there is a fight. Like, they're swapping editorials and op-ed pages about the holiday tree or Christmas tree. So I thought I would throw that one in there, too. So there's clearly a hot war on Christmas. There's clearly a hot war on Christmas out there.
Big deal.
These damn libs are trying to end it by making Silent Night illegal. And I don't know. I mean, we had a situation the other day, right, where one of our friends, they told their kids that Santa's not real from like the very beginning. And now all the other the other parents were sort of worried. They were like, "Oh, what if they tell my kids?" And it's like, it'll just strengthen their belief. Like, if you tell a Christian that God's not real, they don't go like, "Oh, well, I guess God's not real." Just like if a kid tells another kid that Santa's not real, it's not gonna like
Right.
convince them that Santa's not real.
No, I remember, and this was actually my
Hold
first.
on. Let me. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead. Get in there. Do your story.
No, I was gonna say when I was a kid, I remember I went to Catholic school. I lived in a bad neighborhood, quote unquote bad neighborhood, when I was a little kid, and my folks sent me to Catholic school, and I just went there with the understanding that like I'm not Catholic and none of us believe in this stuff. And I went there, and I remember there was a moment where I was like, oh, like you guys are like you really believe in all this stuff, like all the stories and stuff, like, oh shit. And then they found out, it was about that time they found out that I wasn't Catholic, and they wouldn't let me eat the cracker, the communion.
That sucks.
But they let me, like, I don't know, there was some mistake anyway. I went up and I ate it, which is like totally haram, and I'm like, I shouldn't have done it, but I didn't know at the time because I was like 6 or 7.
Well, that's just gonna be why you go to hell.
But I remember, so I went through Catholic school, and I was like, yeah, I'm not Catholic. It's cool. Right? Like, I should still be good to people, whatever else. And I remember I was in 5th grade, and I switched schools, and I went to, like, secular public school. And then I remember a friend of mine who was always trying to do wrestling slams on me, and he was always, like, trying to grapple with me, and I was like, I'm cool. But he brought a book to school, and he was like, you need to read this. This is going to convince you about God. And it was a book, and it was called Christian Evidences. And it was this fucking tome. And the book was the size of the Bible. I was like, I've seen the Bible. I'm not going to read this. This is by some guy named like Marcus or some shit. Yeah. And he's like, you need to read this all, and this will convince you. And I was like, I'm not going to read this, and you need to keep your hands off me. I don't want to do suplex.
I'm going to look up Christian. I'm going to get this book, I think, so I can figure out what the Christian evidence was that he was giving them.
I'm sure it I mean, I'm sure it was like, there was a guy who was a leper, and it's like but that was in the Bible.
Yeah,
I read that story.
Yeah.
Like, I've been on vacation. I think everybody, at least before phones, was on vacation, and you would go somewhere like Gatlinburg, Tennessee. Like, if you're from around here, you would go to some shitty place that you could get to in a day, and there would be nothing to do there, and you would get the Bible, and you were like, I'll read this, I guess.
I've never read any of the Bible because I don't understand it. I just don't think I have the brain to understand the Bible. I've opened it up and like started to look through it, and it's like, what is this person fucking talking about? I can't figure it out. So that's
Sorry.
No, go.
I did want to say somebody shared, Tay from the Facebook group shared this week at her school. Here's the headline: Park Slope parents outrage after teacher tells first graders that Santa Claus isn't real.
Oh,
it makes sense though, dude.
A substitute teacher. The scuttlebutt around town is that he was a weird teacher. He had interesting nicknames for some of the students. But apparently this week he went on a diatribe where he said that the Tooth Fairy and Santa Claus are not real.
Oh,
That's
he made
badass.
the announcement to the entire class.
oh,
That maybe will change them though. That is
That's
the
cool
type
as
of thing
shit.
that would actually change the kid's
That's
mind.
cool.
Yeah.
Having a person in
Yeah.
authority say it, it's funny.
You'll realize later in life how awesome it was that happened.
Yeah.
But
Parents don't get that there's some parts of childhood that are bad and you just think that they're you look back on them fondly. I had parts of my childhood that were shit and then I look back on it and I'm like, oof, that was
I was
something
talking to your wife though, but Gwen broke down in tears when you told her, right? About
Yeah,
Santa.
she was pissed. Yes, it made her very
She felt
sad
betrayed.
because I don't think she wanted me to tell her, right? So it
Yeah.
was
Yeah.
she was getting to this age where it was if I don't fucking tell her, she's gonna be a weirdo kid.
Right.
It's I had to, and I think she was 8, and I was like, I gotta tell you something, kid. There's no Santa Claus. That's not a thing. Me and your parents go and we spend money we don't have on these gifts, and that's all it is. And she cried because she was just why'd you have to tell me? And it's because your expectations are too high and I'm broke. Because that's kind of the shittiest thing about Santa is when the children truly believe that it comes from a magical place in the North Pole and Santa has elves make it, which I
Yeah.
don't believe any kid really believes. But anyway, but when they truly believe that, then their expectation for what they get for Christmas can get fucking crazy, you know?
Yeah.
and they
also-
don't feel like it's a burden to you.
No.
And when you reveal it, they're like, "Oh, this is a burden that my parents have been bearing for 8 years."
Yeah, and it was just I didn't want her to go to school and be yeah, but you guys all excited about Santa coming? And all the kids be okay, weirdo.
Yeah.
You still believe in Santa Claus? That was
Well,
what
I had to.
I'm setting my kid up for that though.
I had to.
I'm a never tell parent. I'm never gonna tell her. Because my mom has never told me in my
Okay.
life. My mom never
Okay.
did, and I'm never gonna do it for my kid either.
My parents never told us. Really? They
Yeah.
still address gifts to Santa when we were 18 years old.
My mom will give me a gift from Santa this year for sure.
That's nice.
I love
though.
it.
I like that.
Yeah.
We had to tell our daughter. She was probably 8, Brian. She was about that age.
It's a good age to do
And I think it was the same thing. I think that all of her classmates were already kind of rumbling around oh, Santa Claus isn't real. It's just your mom and dad.
Yeah.
And so they were already rumbling around, and she already knew. She already had an inkling, but she didn't want to tell us because she thought that if she revealed that she knew the secret behind Santa Claus, that she would not get any Christmas presents.
That's how it is
Yeah.
with Gwen. That's what I think really happened with
And-
Gwen in the end was that it was sort of oh shit, I'm gonna start getting less Christmas presents now. Because
You're gonna, and we were walking. I remember it. I remember the moment because you remember these moments in your life. We were walking through the park because it was, I guess it must have been 3 years ago. It was right when Pokemon Go came out. So we were all going through the park on our phone, get this little fucking Pikachu and stuff. And my wife, Natalie, she was like, well, Christmas is coming up and you want this Pokemon Sun and Moon. And my kid's like, yeah. And she's like, well, so the whole thing is that Santa Claus is just a myth. And the whole thing is that we didn't want you to feel weird at school because the kids probably say Santa isn't real. And she's like, yeah, they do. And she was like, well, you're still going to get Pokemon for Christmas, but you should know, right, just because of your peer group, that... And my kid was like, yeah, I knew, but I got the idea that she didn't want to make it known to us that she knew that
Yeah.
it wasn't real because she was terrified. She was like, if I fuck this up, I'm not getting any more Pokemon ever.
Yeah, that's life lessons.
yeah, I mean that's how I felt with Gwen. I don't think she was necessarily sad. I think that she was sort of I think she thought it changed.
I'm not at 8 yet. I do have to say I'm not there yet. We'll see how it works out.
I mean,
but at this point, I'm just gonna rock through it because I think it'll work. I think that I can spin it around. Because she already told me, she said earlier today, she was like, Evelyn in class said that Santa Claus isn't real. And I said, well, not everybody believes in Santa Claus, and that's up to them, you know? And
you've already issued the denial. No, but it wasn't a denial. It was very neutral. It's like, well, some people.
Yeah, like some people don't believe in magic.
You do want her to figure it out, though. You know what I mean? I think.
I don't care. I mean, I know she will. It's that eventually she will. But, I don't, for something about it for me is that it still is like a part of the Christmas spirit, and that I think that the ugly, like, let's crush it, let's never do it, it's damaging. I'm just not in that camp. I think that there's a place for that kind of mischievousness and for that kind of caring and kindness and those kind of feelings and those, like, the spirit of Santa Claus, like, giving more and extras. Like, I believe in that stuff. That's what it is for me.
Yeah,
still,
Santa's better than Jesus.
Yeah, Santa's better than Jesus.
That's
for
how
sure.
I feel too.
You know, it's once a year. It's like, it sucks that it's once a year. It's not all the time, but it's Santa Claus isn't just like gifts under the tree. Santa Claus is like, a lot of other shit to me. Like, I'm being,
I think as long
someone that believes in Santa, still.
You never had the official Santa denial.
I just call it's like the same way. It's like, I think the God and the universe are like one and the same. Like, it's just it's just like an interchangeable thing. It's it's just a way of describing these untangible things in our lives, I
think that Santa Claus, the morality part of Santa Claus, where you say Santa Claus knows if you're being naughty, because I reject the idea of being naughty.
Yeah.
I reject, like, the Christmas immorality. Like, I don't think that there's any room. Like, the idea of Christmas for me is, like, forgiving, right? Yeah. The idea that you have your friends and your family and you love them, and it doesn't matter if your kid, like, lied to you 6 times in a row about if she put all of her dirty socks in the laundry, and you go up in her room and there's still dirty socks in her laundry.
Yeah.
And you have to take them down and wash them. Like, Santa Claus doesn't fit into that for me. Like, Santa Claus is all love and all toys.
That's what it is. It's like Santa Claus gives you gifts for being good. And so as long as I'm giving gifts to people for being good in my life that I love, like, I'm being Santa Claus. That makes me believe in Santa Claus, because that's coming from a place where, like, I value somebody, or, like, I want to reach out and share something with them, or let them know that, like, they've been good this year, as they are. Not, like, trying to be better than everybody else, or, using it as,
I use it as a weapon.
I don't think using it as a weapon is good. Not good.
Well, I want to say, we don't
do that.
Right. We talked about that on Teen Fight, and after I said it, I did realize that it was sort of like a really fucking super mean thing to do that I did. And
to say you're gonna call up Santa Claus and say you're not getting Christmas presents.
If Gwen was screaming and screaming and screaming and screaming, I would take my phone out and tell her I was filming it for Santa Claus.
Oh no!
And then she would straighten out like a board, very stiff, and like just try not to show any emotion at all, so that Santa Claus wouldn't see it. And, like, I think about it now, and I'm like, man, she really believed in Santa Claus. Like, it seems so trivial to me, because I don't believe in Santa Claus. I know it's fake, and I was just using something. But when I think about it now, it's like, oh, man, that was fucking mean. That was, like, something I should have done.
Yeah, it's a hard line.
But we all fuck up as parents. Like, I'm not saying I feel like super... Like a super big guilt for it, but I did realize how wrong it was when I did it after I said it out loud,
Yeah, for sure.
All right.
Well, thanks for listening to Street Fight Radio. If you want to see us live, we're going to have Drew with us later this month December 27th, that's a Friday night. Garbage Brain University is going to be performing live. The Trailblazers are going to be performing live. Lindsey Martin is going to be performing live. It's going to be a night like you've never seen before. It's happening at Ruby Tuesday in Columbus, Ohio. You can get tickets at store.streetfightradio.com. Come hang with the gang. It's going to be awesome. Where can we find your stuff, Drew?
GarbageBrainUniversity.com. We just had Brett on last week, and it was a lot of fun. Brian, we're going to try to get you on sometime as soon as you get free time between all of your side projects.
70 podcasts.
When Brian's not,
I'm recording 2 tomorrow.
Jesus Christ. But yeah, thanks again for having me on. It's always a blast, you guys.
I wanted to bring this up, real quick, before we go. There's a Santa Claus version of VeggieTales. Have you seen the St. Nicholas thing?
No.
I can't verify this via Wikipedia or anything else, but VeggieTales tells a version of St. Nicholas that was this guy that lived in the Mediterranean that robbed rich people and took all the money and gave it to poor people on like on the solstice. Right? Like it all lined up. Yeah. But I have to find, there's no DVD of it, and I watched it one time when I was like on acid as a fucking 20-year-old.
So if you're a listener and you know where to get this.
Yeah, find the VeggieTales St. Nicholas if you know which one I'm talking about. But it was like a Robin Hood story, and that was like my favorite Santa Claus I've ever seen. Of course. And I want to see it again. I really do want to see it again. We are Street Fighter Radio. I'm Brett. He's Brian. That's Drew. We'll see you on Sunday for the call-in show. Peace.